This is Greg Strange at the Institute of Directors with the latest of our IoD video updates, and today we're looking at the impact of the current financial crisis on business confidence. And with me is the IoD's chief economist, Graeme Leach. Graeme, the IoD's just released its latest quarterly business opinion survey, and what does it tell us about business confidence right now?
Well, I'm smiling, Greg, but it's a pretty gloomy survey, actually. Business optimism has dipped more in the wake of the financial crisis than it did in the aftermath of 9/11, which is pretty significant. At the same time as well, investment intentions have plummeted. So that's pretty gloomy on one level, but there's also some positives in there. Actual measured performance by companies is at a high level. It's maintained at a high level. Capacity utilization is flat. And quite significantly as well, only 15% of directors say they've suffered a fall in sales as a result of the credit crisis, and only 6% say they've either faced higher interest costs or new restrictions on the availability of credit. So there's clearly a mixed set of results here. There's clearly a divide between companies saying, how are we doing now, which is pretty well, and what are our expectations of where we're going to be maybe a year down the line, which is we're far more uncertain and we're a little less sure. And so the crucial question now is, will confidence return? Will there be a bounce back?
What's your own take on it? Do you think that confidence will return, that will bounce back?
Well, it's quite interesting. If you look back, let's say, in the wake of 9/11, there was a significant bounce back. So it leads one to believe clearly that there's a possibility of that occurring. I'm not so sure. There's real uncertainty here. If you look at 9/11, that was a very emotional time. There was the shock of an act of mega terrorism, and businessmen naturally, in part, responded rather emotionally to that. This time round, it's a little bit more focused. It's something tied specifically to credit markets. They're looking at the impact on their business. They're looking at the impact of high borrowing costs potentially. They're looking at restrictions on the availability of credit. They're saying thus far we've managed this process, but we're rather uncertain about what it might bring in the future. And if there's more bad news to come from financial markets, if greater losses are reported by banks over the coming weeks and months, then of course I don't think there's any guarantee that we will see a bounce back, and indeed one might even say that it could get worse before it gets better here. So hugely uncertain. At the same time as well, there's added macroeconomic uncertainty at the present time. We've got obviously the global situation. We've got the US economy and the housing market downturn there. We've got high oil prices as well. In the wake of 9/11, there was a very clear direction that the monetary authorities were going to ease quickly, and they were going to ease significantly in order to boost confidence. Now, the American authorities have taken that sort of decision already. The question is, will it be enough? I'm not convinced that one survey makes a slump, and I'm not convinced that our own survey signifies even a significant downturn. We've got to wait and see here. So it doesn't even necessarily make the case for an interest rate reduction. So it is an economist answer. I am sitting on the fence, but we simply don't know, because we don't know how much more bad news there is to come. If there's much more bad news to come, then a bounce back in optimism looks unlikely. And if that is the case, then investment intentions and investment in 2008 could get hammered.